Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. Welcome back to another exciting episode of LT Showcase. And yes, 2020 is over and a pretty good year for games, even though it was a pretty bad year overall. Now, usually I do a top 10 games of a year, but I didn't play a lot of new games this year. I really got derailed with both COVID and with moving. So for a large portion of the year, I wasn't even able to play anything. But I have a top 6 because I played 6 new games. So yeah, my top 6 and 5 and everything, they may not have made the cut had I played more games, but still, all of these are solid picks. So let's start with number 6, which is going to be everyone's feel-good classic, Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch. Now, this game was more of a present to my wife when all this went down in March. I know she was very stressed and needed something to get her mind off things, and what better game than a game that basically simulates your daily chores of life and lets you customize your island and be your own Joanna Gaines decorating your house. I played the original Animal Crossing on the GameCube and I enjoyed it for a time. Then I never wanted to play it again, and all the subsequent entries to come out, New Leaf, the horrible Wii U one, and this one, I wasn't really that interested in. But I did play some of it. It is a lot of fun. It's very cool. Great game to play with a significant other who may not be into games that require a lot of win conditions or a lot of difficulty, but it's just fun to explore. Solid pick, and my number 6 pick of the year. My number 5 pick, the longer I got from playing this, the less hyped I was for it, and for one very specific reason. So if you haven't played this particular game, just know I'm going to give some spoilers for it, which, how could I give spoilers for Final Fantasy VII Remake? I enjoyed the hell of how it looked. I was bummed that they got rid of the combat system and added a action system, but I got over it. It was still fun. And it was just nice to live in the world of Cloud and Tifa, Barrett and Aerith. And Sephiroth is badass, who's in Smash now, which is super cool. But my main gripe with the game, and why it's not higher on this list, is because they've retconned the hell out of it. And the whole point of the game is the fact that the developers make mention of how they've struggled with having to follow the canon, which is something as a fan of multiple types of genres and things, I kind of feel like a lot of people, writers, creators nowadays feel handcuffed by having to stick to what's canon and what's right for the series in general. And never is that more evident than in Final Fantasy VII, where at the end of the game, you basically cut ties with the timeline, and going forward, anything can happen. Which is shown by Laguna, whatever the hell his name is, the guy not dying at the end who died in Crisis Core, and the fact that one of the Jesse, or not Jesse, the guy's alive, and all this crazy crap, which is cool that it's gonna go off into another direction. But already I was dealing with the fact that I wasn't happy they changed the combat system, and now they're pretty much just using the Final Fantasy VII brand to go their own way, and to have all us fans come and give them money because we remember how much we loved the original game, even though they can take the story and fuck it up. So yeah, that's still my number 5 of the year, but not, I'm concerned with where it's going in the future. It's kind of like how I felt. Now, I won't even go there. Anyways, number 4, now we're getting to games that I don't have bad feelings for. And even though this is really just a re-release of 3 games that I've played to death, I gotta put Super Mario 3D All-Stars as my number 4, purely because it is just a game full of joy. Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, all great games. I'm more fond of 64 than I am than Galaxy, and more fond of Sunshine than I'm not a big fan of Galaxy, even though it's fun. I like the, I just didn't care for the way that the game just went all over, but just in general. Mario 3D All-Stars, great package. I know it's just a port of 3 ROMs that you can play wherever, but having it on the Switch, being able to pop it in, Jen and I can play it, is a lot of fun. It was great going through, we went through the first 7 or 8 worlds one night when we first got it. It was just a blast. and looking forward to playing more of it. And now I have a way to show her Sunshine and Galaxy that looks better and is a lot easier to hook up. So number 4, Mario 3D All-Stars. Now number 3, this is one I played very late in the year. It came out much earlier, and I heard nothing but praise for it, and I was super excited to play it. I had to get my limited run copy of it because I wanted a physical copy, and that is Streets of Rage 4. Wow. I'm with all of you. I did not expect this game to be that good. I'm going to make a video on it where I kind of give more of my thoughts, but more or less, they have moved the beat-em-up genre the furthest I've ever seen in my adult life. Now, fair point, the genre is pretty much dead, but the ideas they came up with were things that probably could have been implemented in some of the, at least the 32-bit versions of beat-em-ups. I mean, one of the things specifically is they actually have a level where you're introduced to 2 different sets of enemies that are also enemies of each other. I don't know if that happens in other games, but it's pretty cool how that interacts. The level locales, the way it feels, just the art style, which originally when I saw the first cutscene, I didn't think was going to work that well. I got Battletoads vibes, but playing it was excellent. Highly recommend picking it up. And that leads on to our number 2, which is another game I haven't done a video on yet, but I will, and that is Ghost of Tsushima, or Ghost of Tsushima. However the hell you pronounce it, it's just a really all-around great game. Everything that you do in the world is so refined. It's gorgeous as hell. I have HDR on my new TV with the PS4 Pro. Just looks incredible. More on that in the video I do. It's kind of funny. You can't capture that with my capture card and it looked like garbage. But just a fun game. The combat system, everything reminds me a lot of a Breath of the Wild mixed with Assassin's Creed, and then a heavy story. A little bit too heavy of a story. It starts to drag after a while, but I'll save that for the review. But Ghost of Tsushima, excellent game. Well worth a pickup. Probably the most refined iteration of a style of game for this genre, or this generation of consoles. Very excellent. And number 1, shouldn't be surprised, I don't have a copy of it because it's not physical yet, and that is Hades by Supergiant Games. Everything about this game I liked. The lore, the combat loop, even going through and having to beat it 10 times to get the real ending, I started to dig because you get some momentum after a while, and every single time I probably got a 4 streak of beating it, 3 streak of beating it, every different weapon. Ironically, the sword is the weapon I had the most trouble beating it with. The gun and all the ranged weapons tended to be easier, but such a fun game. You definitely should watch it as my cat knocks stuff off of my game shelf. Looks like it's a Genesis game. But anyways, Hades was my number 1 game of 2020. And real quick, just want to do one honorable mention to World of Warcraft Classic. Another thing I played all year. I know it was on my list last year, but they've had phases come out of the new content. And I have officially defeated Naxxramas, killed Kel'Thuzad, killed Cthulhu, completed everything there is to do in Classic WoW that I didn't do back 15 years ago. So that was super cool, but it can't be on this list for obvious reasons. It's already old and it came out last year. So yeah, that's my list of games for 2020. I'm going to do another list of games referring to 2020 for next week, but that's going to be a list of games that I played for the channel and my top 10 for the channel of last year. Caveat, I'm disqualifying all of these games. Spoilers, only Hades would have made it anyways, but still, look forward to that next week. Let me know what your favorite games of 2020 were. Let me know if I should pick up any of them. I have a few that I haven't gotten to. I do have Last of Us 2, but I really don't care to play it. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm sure there's strong feelings on both ends. But yeah, it's been so nice getting a hold of you guys. Take care.